Glug, glug, glug. Master Water Djinn, you have to try this. Wait, where'd she come from? Did I miss this? Did I somehow skip a story? This is a fresh, airy fruit juice, one of our special local products. Though it's not as sweet as the rocky fruit juice you just had, it's as refreshing as your spring water. But I'm already so full. I can guarantee you'll like it. Rita bent down and poured Water Djinn a full glass of greenish juice. After some hesitation, the Water Djinn raised her glass and drank the juice up. Whoa, this is so good. Can I get a refill, Rita? Of course, Master Water Djinn. I do not trust Rita. I don't trust her at all. Did you hear that, Delta? She called me Master Water Djinn. Miss Water Djinn is beaming. I feel like Water Djinn's a Leo. Seele, Delta, you gotta try this. It tastes so unbelievably good. As good as my spring water. Water Djinn waved her glass at Seele and Delta, who had been seated at another table. We're flattered that you like our juice, Master Water Djinn. Miss Delta, Miss Valere, here's your juice. Seele hesitated for a few seconds and took a glass of juice. However, Delta made no move, her arms still crossed. Rita smiled and gently put down the other glass in front of her. Oh, it's Himiko? Come on, girl. An inebriated, red-haired woman sat down between Seele and Delta, her arms around their shoulders. Yeah, she totally seems like that type. This is your welcome party. Make yourselves at home. Himiko patted Seele's shoulder heavily and held Delta tighter on the other arm. Leave me alone. You smell terrible. What? You don't like the sweet smell of alcohol? This is the smell of adulthood. Want to try it? No. You seem like a cute little girl, but why are you so cold to us? We're not bad people. Yeah, you're trying to look cool, I know. Seeing Himiko had no intention to withdraw her arm from her shoulder, Delta coldly moved her hand away, raised the glass, and took a sip. It does taste good. Delicious, huh? I can tell from your face that you love it. Oh, this airy fruit wine is even better. Do you want a Himiko-senpai? Miss Delta clearly prefers to have some alone time, so how about we give her more personal space? Rita came back as they talked and refilled Himiko's drink. You barely touch your food, Miss Valere. Our local specialties don't agree with you? Sorry, we don't have abundant foodstuffs here. Our farmlands have been polluted due to the Dark Lord's assault. Ah, no. The food you prepared looked great, Miss Rossweiss. It's just that, This place looks so different than what I imagined. I think I need some time to process. I see. What did you think the floating isles should look like, Miss Valere? Thought it would be like a chaotic place where adventurers would encounter swarms of scary monsters. It used to be like that, but after the efforts made by all the adventurers, we managed to build this adventure base. This is amazing. Who would have thought there's a safe, sophisticated adventure base on the floating isles? Are all the adventurers here? Fu Hua-senpai is patrolling on other isles. The rest of them are all here. Seele disappointedly bowed her head. She didn't see the petite figure that she had been looking for. I have to say, Miss Valere, you and your companions surprised us even more. Huh? If we hadn't seen you with our own eyes, we wouldn't believe Master Water Djinn came here with new adventurers. Each of the adventurers here has been guided by Master Water Djinn. We would never make it here without her help. Here's to Master Water Djinn. Oh, cheers. Here's to Master Water Djinn. Dozens of adventurers raised their glasses to Water Djinn while chanting her name. Dang. She's like a queen here. Interesting. Delta rubbed her forehead, stood up impatiently, and started to walk towards the exit. Where are you going, Miss Delta? To the Dark Castle. This party is taking forever. I don't have time for this. Neither does the Dark Lord. But it seems Miss Water Djinn wants to have more food. She can stay here. Huh? She's nothing but a burden to me. I prefer to go without her. Her duty as the guide is already complete. I only need to pass through the floating isles to reach the Dark Castle. I don't need any help to get rid of the monsters on the way. Wait, Miss Delta, I don't want to stay here either. Can I go with you? I have a few questions to ask the adventurers here, though. Can you wait for me? Make it quick. I will. Thank you, Delta. Seele forced her way through the cheering adventurers and came to Rita. Miss Rossweiss? Oh, Miss Valere, where were you and Miss Delta? We've been looking for you. Have you met an adventurer named Bronya? But when Seele mentioned the name Bronya, they all quieted down immediately. Oh, shit. Why do you want to find Bronya, Miss Valere? Because she's my sister. She went missing a long time ago, and I came all the way here to find her. Being stared at by the adventurers, Seele helplessly stood there with her head bowed, wringing her hands. She could hear the adventurers murmuring, but she could not hear the exact content. She was afraid. Her voice even started to tremble, but she finally managed to gather some courage to look up at Rita. Miss Rossweiss, if you know Bronya's whereabouts, please tell me. However, Rita did not respond. Instead, she turned around to face the adventurers and clapped her hands. Adventurers, the party is over. Please return to your posts and start your work and daily training. The adventurers dispersed. Rita started to clean up. Party's over already, but it just started. Miss Rosswise? Did I do something wrong? Why does everyone seem to hate me and my sister? You did nothing wrong, Miss Valerie. But why did they? Because Branya is a name that no one here wants to speak of. I don't know how to explain this to you. Explain? What did my sister do? Please tell me, Miss Rosswise. Oh, shit. It's fine, Rita. I can explain it to them. Fuhua Senpai, you're back early. Yo, and we got that. Hey, we got that Black Butler outfit right there. I heard that Water Djinn and the new adventurers came, so I returned to greet them. These are the new adventurers? Yes, Fuhua Senpai, this is Miss Valerie, and that young lady over there is Miss Delta. Adventurers, this is Fuhua Senpai. She's the founder of this base. Greetings, adventurers from faraway lands. My apologies for not being able to welcome you earlier. I was patrolling elsewhere. Fuhua bowed to make her apologies, which rattled Seele. Please don't say that, Fuhua Senpai. We should be apologizing for troubling you and Miss Rosswise. I overheard part of your conversation just now, and I've got a rough idea of what's going on. Do you know where my sister is, Fuhua Senpai? Yes. Come with me, Seele, Delta, and Water Djinn. I feel like the Water Djinn is actually hiding something bad. Like, I feel like she might be the Dark Lord. Or Branya is, I don't know. Come with me, I'll show you where Branya is. A few minutes later, in open space outside the base, we'll go southwest to an isle, climb up a mountain, which is the highest spot in the neighborhood. When we get there, we'll be able to see Branya. A mountain? Is my sister having her training there? You'll understand when we get there, but before we set off, I must first deal with a lurking danger among you. Lurking danger? Oh, I see, Fuhua Senpai. I assure you that Miss Delta is not... Whatever, I'm used to this. Fight me if you want. I'm tired of explaining anyway, but I'm curious. What's your criteria for identifying the Dark Lord? Combat power? Or is it my horns and tail? No. Though you have an aura similar to the Dark Lord, I know you're not it. She is the lurking danger, not you. What? Miss Water Djinn? Why have you been pretending to be Water Djinn? Why did you join the adventures and come here pretending? Who are you, imposter? Oh, shit. Let's go. Who are you? I'm Water Djinn, the Djinn who lives in the spring of Emerald Woods and guides adventures. We did meet Miss Water Djinn there and have been guided by her, just as the Adventurer's Guide says. Right, the Adventurer's Guide. You can trust that guidebook because you wrote it in the first place, right, idiot Djinn? Why are you taking her side? We've been traveling partners for so long. Can't you just help me out here? I don't believe anything you say ever since I realized you were the writer of that guidebook Seele has. Adventurers will find the entrance to the ruins sooner or later. That guidebook just lures adventurers to your spring, where you give them an extra guide that they don't really need. Which means there is no Water Djinn who guides adventurers in the first place. How could this be? So Miss Water Djinn has been lying to us? No, I didn't lie to anyone. I am Water Djinn. No, you are not. You don't know me. I know the real Water Djinn. She was a friend of mine. She left this world before my eyes. So she no longer lives in this world after all. The sky was still clear, but everyone suddenly had a feeling that a storm just fell. Ooh, the rain started to pour, and the wind was howling. The fake Water Djinn, who was at the center of the storm, gazed at Fuhua in an exceptionally calm manner. Oh shit, old friend of Water Djinn, please tell me, what had happened at that time? Water Djinn, Forest Djinn, the Grand Sage, and me were the first to come to the floating isles. We challenged the Dark Lord countless times, but failed to defeat it due to its eerie powers from another world. So we decided to let the Grand Sage leave this dangerous place and continue her research on ways of defeating the Dark Lord in a safer area. And the rest of us stayed here to hold the Dark Lord off and buy her some time. In the end, the Grand Sage failed to find a way to defeat the Dark Lord, but she managed to create a barrier. At the same time, the Dark Lord launched the final assault. The sky was full of dark rifts from which deluges of monsters came. These disgusting monsters are endless. Calm down, Water Djinn. We must hold out until the Grand Sage's barrier activates. Of course, I know that, human. Watch out. More monsters are coming. Annoying roaches. Dang, she's bad. Yo, that's the hair share attitude right there that I expect. Blue spring water congealed into countless spears in midair and rained down innumerable rampaging monsters. Yo, if I get her skin, does it change her stuff to the umbrellas and like watery effects? You should stop using that spell, Water Djinn. Your body can't take it anymore. Don't underestimate me. Watch out! The Dark Lord ripped space and soundlessly emerged from dark rift near the three girls. It did not immediately launch an assault, but the lightless rift started to consume everything nearby like a black hole. To be honest, I already know who this Dark Lord is with this kind of... I really think I already know who it is. I mean, they kind of tell you at the beginning, right? and Water Djinn, who was already feeble and strained, was the closest to the rift. Grab my hand, Water Djinn. Forest Djinn and Fu Hua clutched Water Djinn's hand at the same time, trying to pull her away from the rift, wherever the Dark Lord suddenly launched a violent attack. It smashed the floating isle under their feet in a flash. Forest Djinn fell down in the shattered isle. Forest Djinn! Darn it, hold on to me, Water Djinn. Let go, human. Do you want to be consumed too? Fu Hua gripped onto the Water Djinn's hand, which in turn caused her to be sucked deeper into the rift. Foolish human. Blue spring water formed a giant water sphere beside Water Djinn. What are you doing? Just leave, human. Go defeat the Dark Lord and return to the Emerald Woods, and tell her I'm sorry. Pushed me away with that water sphere she summoned and was consumed by the rift. No one knows what is behind that rift. No one knows where she is. The Grand Sage managed to activate the barrier thereafter, which closed the Dark Lord and the monsters off on the floating isles. And I stayed here to fight the monsters and guide adventurers while looking for Water Djinn. So Fu Hua Senpai is the first adventurer, and the real Water Djinn is your adventure companion. Then who is this Miss Water Djinn who's been traveling with us? I'm also a Djinn of spring water, just like her. I'm her little sister. What? I see. When the Dark Lord first descended, humanity and the Djinns formed an alliance. They sent their best warriors to fight the Dark Lord together. My sister and Forest Djinn were among our strongest warriors, while I was the least powerful among us Djinns. I didn't master any spells, and I was not very strong, so I wasn't chosen for the battle. I have been waiting for my sister and Forest Djinn to come back and tell me their adventure stories ever since they left, but only Forest Djinn came back to Emerald Woods at last. I asked Forest Djinn my sister's whereabouts many times, but she never gave me an answer. I tried to find my sister, but the Forest Djinn had been guarding the entrance to the ruins and wouldn't let me pass. So you got your eyes on the adventurers. I made up some stories based on the Djinn folklore I've heard and wrote adventurers guides and snuck it into the human towns. I disguised myself as my sister and provided guidance for all adventurers that came to the Emerald Woods. I had been waiting for any adventurers who had been guided by me to bring back intel about my sister, but there were fewer and fewer new adventurers, and not a single one had returned. And then I met you, Delta. You're the strongest adventurer I've ever met, way stronger than Forest Djinn, maybe even comparable to the Dark Lord. So I thought if I joined your team, Forest Djinn wouldn't be able to stop me. Join my team? Don't flatter yourself, you just tagged along. Yeah, why would I do that? I think I kinda already knew what happened to my sister when Forest Djinn refused to answer my questions. Then why did I still come here? Why did I have to ruin my last hope? Miss Water Djinn, because sometimes it's easier to just be hopeless. A glimmer of hope is even more depressing than sheer desperation. It will slowly torture you until it kills you. Miss Delta, please don't say that. She's right. Hope can be more painful than desperation. Let's go. They walked in total silence. Soon they arrived at the floating isle Fu Hua mentioned and reached the mountaintop. The dark castle is over there. Everyone looked in the direction as Fu Hua pointed. It was a devastated, sunless floating isle with shattered earth, on which monsters were rampaging. And that's where your sister is, Seele. Is she still fighting the Dark Lord? I gotta go help her out. No. The old Dark Lord has already been defeated. Then, your sister Bronya has become the new Dark Lord. Bronya is the new Dark Lord? Seele froze with shock. Her scythe dropped on the ground. This music is sick. No, it can't be. Fu Hua Senpai, there must be some misunderstanding. Bronya, my sister can't be. I wouldn't believe it either if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. Bronya was not the strongest adventurer, but the most relentless. She'd come to me for instruction and training every day. She was determined to grow strong enough to defeat the Dark Lord. She wasn't talented or had magic powers like other adventurers. I once asked her why she wanted to be an adventurer. She told me that her little sister was once attacked by monsters and almost died. I was indeed seriously wounded when I was a child, and it left a permanent scar on my back, but I've always thought it was from a beast attack. I don't remember it at all. That's probably why she was so determined to defeat the Dark Lord. She wanted to protect you and shield you from danger and any terrifying facts about monsters. Later, she formed a commando of adventurers and carried out a raid on the Dark Castle. It was a tough battle, but they managed to defeat the Dark Lord at last. However, before they could celebrate the hard-won victory, Bronya, who was next to the Dark Lord's corpse, suddenly noticed something unusual. The Dark Lord's body suddenly began to emit cold light, and the blast it generated immediately swept all the adventurers out of the castle, except Bronya, and the gate of the Dark Castle closed ever since. How could this be? Bronya. And for the period of time thereafter, there were indeed fewer monsters, but the barrier was still on. So we guessed that Bronya didn't really kill the Dark Lord. Yes, and then the number of monsters started to increase again. I was worried that something unusual might be going on in the Dark Castle, so I sent several adventurers to inspect. They found out that the gate of the Dark Castle was somehow open again, and there was a new Dark Lord inside the castle. The new Dark Lord looked just like Bronya. This can't be true. They must have made a mistake. I couldn't believe it either. So I went to the Dark Castle myself, and I was attacked by Bronya. She looked a bit different, but I was sure it was her, and the power she was using was the power of the Dark Lord. Even so, I couldn't hurt Bronya. No, this can't be true. No way. My sister is not the Dark Lord. Seele frantically clutched Fu Hua for a moment and then stepped back and picked up her weapon, her eyes filled with tears. You must be the Dark Lord's minion. You disguised yourself in his adventure and came here to trick me. You lied to Miss Water Djinn, and now you lie to me. You are the true Dark Lord, aren't you? Calm down, Seele. Miss Delta, my sister is not the Dark Lord. You know that, don't you? This woman here, she is the cunning Dark Lord. My sister must have been taken captive by her. Seele! I'm Bronya's friend. I taught her how to fight. I had been fighting alongside her. I don't want to believe it as much as you, but the truth is the truth. Your sister, the Bronya we know, no longer exists. Fu Hua's roar suddenly cooled Seele down. She knew from the bottom of her heart that Fu Hua was not the Dark Lord's minion and didn't lie to them. She just couldn't believe the cruel truth. Look at that face Seele is making. Dang, the pain. This has been an interesting story, but it's none of my business. And this Dragon Slayer becomes the dragon kind of drama so 20 years ago. Delta carelessly waved a hand and started to walk down the mountain. Seele, if you want to find out and see the truth with your own eyes, you can come with me. I'll help you one last time. But if you already lost all the courage to face the truth, then just stay. I'm leaving either way. One thing is for sure, though. It doesn't matter to me whether the Dark Lord in that castle is Bronya or not. I'll kill her, he, it, if they get in my way. No, you can't do that. Delta, you underestimate the Dark Lord. There's no way you could defeat her on your own. You never know until you try, am I right? Just then, an adventure from the base came. Fu Hua-senpai, our base is surrounded by hordes of monsters, at least 3 times as many as last time. You go back now and help. I'll be right there. Seele, if you couldn't believe what I said, no matter what, go to the Dark Castle with Delta. See the truth with your own eyes. Fu Hua then left in the direction of the base. So what are your plans next? Stay here or go with me? I don't know. I already found the answer I've been looking for, but I'm going back to the base. I want to help the adventurers. Are you sure about this? Bronya would make the same choice. She would definitely choose to fight the monsters and protect everyone. I want to be like my sister. I want to become a real adventurer who fearlessly fights to protect this world. I have to say, you're already a real adventurer. Alright, I guess I could use some warm-up before the final. I'll go to the base with you and do them a favor. Hey, Idiot Djinn, are you really going to stay here? Yeah, just go without me. I'd like to be left alone for a while. I still don't trust her. Outside the adventure space, fight as hard as you can. We're in no place to retreat. Defeat the monsters and defend the world behind us. Nice slogan, but I don't see any Honkai beasts getting properly beaten up. Delta, Seele, what are you two doing here? We're here to help, to protect this world. Well, I'm just here to warm up. Anyway, let's beat some monsters. We're losing daylight. Delta's too cool. Let's finish this. Oh, damn, there's a bunch of them now. Fu Hua-senpai, don't come close. There's something unusual about the number and moving pattern of these monsters. It feels as if the Dark Lord is leading them. Something must be brewing up in that castle. Bronya, the Dark Lord, must be making a move. Delta, you're indeed the strongest adventurer I've ever met. You shouldn't be wasting your time here. Go to the castle and defeat the Dark Lord. We'll deal with these monsters. Alright, I'm bored anyway. Time to do something more challenging. Seele, I'm asking you one last time. Do you want to go to the castle? If you still want to find your sister, doesn't matter whether she's the Dark Lord. This is your last chance. I'm going with you, but Fu Hua-senpai and the adventurers are still fighting the monsters. I can't just leave like this. You have to make a choice, Seele. We hereby declare Judgment Day. A myriad of blue water spears rain down on the monsters with the blue cry. Hey, you're not actually useless, Idiot Djinn. Miss Water Djinn, go to the castle with Delta, Seele. You have to be there for your sister, no matter what. But don't worry, I'll stay here and fight these monsters with the adventurers, just like what my sister used to do. You finally made a proper warrior. Yo. They made a pretty good little story here. Delta, I still don't like you, but thank you for helping Seele in this world. Go to the castle and defeat the Dark Lord and protect this world. We need no more war or bloodshed. You've got to be kidding me, idiot Djinn, huh? I've told you like a million times, I'm not some adventurer. Ask someone else to protect this world. Relax, I'm still going to the Dark Castle. As for the Dark Lord, I'll see what I can do, but I'm not promising anything. Miss Delta and Water Djinn haven't changed a bit. Well then, let's go, Seele. Alright, so we watched that one, so now we're at Dark Castle 1. I've been recording for over an hour and a half, so I think I'm going to split this into 2 parts. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I will continue this in part 2. We'll go through the Dark Castle and read the rest of the story. I will read it today, obviously, before the adventure, or before the event ends, but yeah, thank you guys, as always, for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.